I'm Jessica.
I'm Emmalynn.
And today we're back with a mini haul. It's very mini.
Mine is mini.
Some of mine, actually all of mine, are leftover birthday gifts. So
Fair.
I didn't technically buy any of these. So, first we're going to say that while we were visiting my parents over Christmas, my mom graciously offered, if you're watching this video, hi Mom, to send us home with some of her collectible books, which I was so excited for, but here's the problem. We're flying across the country. And we had Christmas gifts in our suitcase already.
We sat on our suitcases.
We could not fit any more, much to my dismay. So she started mailing us some little by little. So first, she knew that Emmalynn wanted this copy of Little Women.
Look at these old sprayed edges. That's so cute.
And the back is also illustrated.
Has pictures in it, black and white and colored.
And yeah, Emmelynn's starting a nice little collection of Little Women.
Yeah, this is my 4th. And I still haven't read it.
Yeah. Okay, here's the thing. For Emmalynn, it's Little Women. For me, it's Anne of Green Gables. Like, I just want all of the copies of Anne of Green Gables, which I have read. I haven't read the whole series, but I have read the first one.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like your one weakness to just keep buying Little Women. And then
they're just all so cute. I have
are.
such a good collection.
And then I wanted, amongst other things, but this was one of the ones I wanted, and that's Grimm's Fairy Tales. And it has illustrations also, and it has some, I guess they're sprayed edges. And then she also sent this very old copy, which is from 1925, of A Tale of Two Cities, or Tale of Two Cities, by Charles Dickens. And it's this cute little pocket edition. And it has, like, the people who've owned it previously, like, wrote their names inside, and it goes all the way back to 1927. And it also has some Latin phrases written in the back, which I will translate later. Some I can tell what it means, but not all. So yeah, that was a fun little surprise to get in the mail. And then she also sent me for my birthday the Thursday Murder Club, which I've been wanting to read forever. For some reason, our library never has the first one. I feel like our library is kind of bad about having the first in a series. I guess they distribute them to some other library in the network. So she got me the first one and the second one, which is The Man Who Died Twice. And if you aren't familiar with this story, the first one follows a retirement village, which is like, just hits home. My mom worked for independent living, senior independent living forever, and then I did for a little bit as well. And I just love elderly people so much. So the fact that this is set in a retirement village is just adorable to me. But they have a Thursday Murder Club where they meet to talk about unsolved crimes, and then plot twist, I think a real crime happens and they try to solve it. So murder and older people, what more could you want in a cozy mystery than that?
Okay, my first book is Belladonna by Adeline Grace. I don't know if I've talked about this in any of our videos. I bought this a little while ago, but I didn't think I've talked about it, and I'm just so excited to read it, so I thought I would mention it. I love the cover, first of all, something about it. And this
Look
is
what
so
she
pretty.
did. She actually utilized
and
the hardcover.
The back is different. Like, the end pages are cool. Like, she just went above and beyond. But this book follows Signa. She's 19 and an orphan, and she just kind of been placed with a bunch of different people throughout, her childhood growing up. And one day, the family she's living with, the mother claims she was poisoned. And so she decides to try to figure out who the murderer is. And with that, somehow she forms an alliance with Death himself to try to figure out who the murderer is. And that's where our story takes off. That's literally all I know. And I'm really excited to read this. I read, I believe it's called All the Stars and Teeth, which is like a pirate series by her. I just read the first one. It was pretty good. I didn't absolutely love it, but I did like her writing. The plot just wasn't for me. So I'm really excited to read this. I love anything gothic vibes, so I'm excited.
Okay. The next book I picked up, not booked, is this copy of Jane Eyre. Now, do I already have 2 copies of Jane Eyre? Yes, I do. But do any of them look like this? No, they do not. Do they have pink sprayed edges? No, they do not.
It looks so happy for such a sad book.
It was only $6 too, and it's like this linen hardcover. It has like a, I don't know, like a protective thing on it that I'll take off after I read it probably. But I think I love the story of Jane Eyre more than Pride and Prejudice. Don't come at me. Now, I haven't ever read Jane Eyre, but I have watched probably 4 or 5 different movie adaptations of it, so I am very familiar with the story. And for some reason, it's just always intimidated me a little bit to read it, but this is going to be the year that I read this. As soon as it's spring, I don't know, maybe it's just because of the way the cover looks. It's not really I don't know, it takes place in all seasons, I guess, technically. It's probably more of like a Halloween read because of the gothic vibes, but I am going to pick this up this year. It's like one of the few classics that I actually want to read and I'm excited to read. So I thought this cover might entice me to read it sooner.
Okay, my next book is A Far Wilder Magic by Alison Saft. I first heard about this book in Carrie Can Read's video, and I trust her with everything in me because she's brutally honest and she won't hold back. So I have been telling myself I'm going to read this. I got it from the library. But, when you get things from the library, there's not a pressure to read it. So you're just like, oh, I get this. Like, I got 2 books from the library, and I probably won't read them, but they're there if I need them.
So they're like comfort blankets.
Yeah, exactly. But I saw this at Half Price Books for $9, which were a hardback. I was like, okay, I can't pass that up. And I'm so excited to read this, but I'll tell you what it's about now. This story follows Margaret, and she is a sharpshooter, huntswoman, and there is like one last living mythical creature, but to be able to hunt it down, you're supposed to have an alchemist with you, and there's only, I don't know if there's only like a certain amount of alchemists, and she can't find one, but she meets this guy named Weston, and he isn't an alchemist yet. He's been fired from like all of his apprenticeships, and he's in his last one right now, just holding on to hope that he will not be fired from it, and they team up, I guess, to hunt this mythical creature down, and
it looks very vibey.
Yes. Something about
like the more
cover,
you look at that cover too, it's like one of those things, the longer you look at it, the prettier it gets.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like you.
You're just like yourself, because I look like you. Anyway.
Not really. I don't think you look like me. Well, I guess. A little bit.
Our facial expressions alone, though.
True.
Anyways, I'm so excited to read this. I've heard, like, the romance aspect of this book is really good. Just well done. And there's a little fox on the back, and who wouldn't want that? I just love anything with magical animals.
True. Okay. This book, well, the next 2 books I picked up are both by Ruta Sepetys, I think is how you say it. I hope. I don't know. But she is like one of those authors that she writes YA books, but a wide range of adults read her books because I guess her historical fiction is just that good. So it's kind of like crosses platforms, if you will. So this book is Ashes in the Snow, which was originally published as Between Shades of Grey, which came out, I believe, like around the time 50 Shades of Grey came out. So I was like, are they trying to like do some kind of a spin-off of that? So I never picked it up, and then I realized it was a historical fiction. And then they made it into a movie and I guess renamed the book for some reason. Didn't know it was a movie. But this is about a young girl who lives in Lithuania. Her and her family get taken to a refugee camp in, I think, the Soviet Union. But her mother and her brother get separated from her father. So, like, the whole story is kind of about how she tries to be creative in the ways she tries to communicate with her father. So she, like, writes letters and draws pictures, just hoping that she can somehow get the message to him that they're okay and hopefully reunite with him after they're hopefully freed from this prison camp. But I've just heard that it's, like, extremely gut-wrenching, but so powerful, so I wanted to read that one. And then this one really intrigued me because a lot of historical fiction books I feel like all take place during World War II, or they just kind of like rehash the same periods in history, but this one takes place in Spain during, the 1950s, when Spain is under like a really harsh dictatorship. And so this follows a man or young boy, teenage boy probably. His name is Daniel, and he's a photographer, but his family is really wealthy, and they decide to visit Spain. And in doing his photography, he befriends this girl. What is her name? Anna, I think. Yeah. Yes. Anna. And, like, through his friendship with her, he kind of starts seeing Spain for what it really is. I think through doing all of these different photographs of Spain, he kind of uncovers some things about Spain that he's not sure what to deal with. So it's, like, kind of a, I've been let in on this secret, now what am I going to do with it? And so I think his friendship with Anna obviously probably turns into a romance, but her being a native of Spain, I think, plays a lot into what he decides to do with this information. So this one's a little more hefty. It's almost 500 pages, but I really just want to dive into her stuff. I get in these moods sometimes where I'm like, I've been reading just some, like, whimsy, fun things, and I want something, like, more meaty. So, usually that's when I decide to pick up something historical fiction, because I'm like, at least I'm learning a little something along the way. So, those are those two books by Ruta Sepetys.
Okay, my last book I have already read. That is Daisy Jones and the Six by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I had to get the TV show cover because it's just so good. Like, something about, this is so nerdy, but I love the font. And, like,
I love a good font.
I just need to get the other one out if I can, because just compare the two.
No, it's over here.
Oh, no. It's okay. Or not.
It's not over there. You moved it.
You know what?
Over there?
Yeah, it's
the camera is sitting on it.
But the font of the first one, I'm like, nothing about this gives 70s vibes. And everything about this cover, you can tell where and when it takes place.
It's flowy.
Yeah, just like the color scheme, the yellow and maroon on the back. So I just appreciate that as someone who loves the 70s, in case you didn't know. I just talk about it all the time. But this, obviously, is about, if you don't know, Daisy and the Six. And they are a fictional rock band in the 70s. they're like already a band, and she eventually joins them. And this entire book is in interview format, so like pretty much all dialogue. Just kind of recounting events of the years that they were a band before they broke up.
And like while they're on tour.
While they're on tour, there's songs in the back that Taylor wrote that are now being released on Spotify because it's been turned into a TV show, which is just so crazy because when I read this book, I was like, these have to be real people. Like, joking, because it reminds me so much of just everything that has to do with Fleetwood Mac and the relationships within the band. I think there's only one less member, if I'm remembering right, but I just love this story, and I'm making Mom read it, so
stay tuned because we're going to be buddy reading this together.
I want to annotate this book.
Definitely before the show comes out.
Yes.
So we have not very long.
Get a refresher, and I'm just obsessed with the casting. I'm just so excited, and I hope my expectations aren't too high. It's gonna be okay.
Okay.
So that's all the books.
That's all the books we have for this little mini haul that once we started gathering books, we realized, hey, we have enough to maybe share. So, hopefully we won't be having any more books to share anytime soon. Unless we use our Pango credits.
I also have a Barnes & Noble gift card.
Oh my gosh, you're right.
It only has like $10 on it.
I don't know how you're holding on to that thing. I would have had that thing spent a long time ago. Anyways, we hope you enjoyed this video, and keep checking for our buddy read of Daisy Jones and the Six. And we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.